9:30 Eastern Time, a live look here into New York City. We wanted to kick off this opening bell segment with the big financial news of the day.
That's right. January's consumer price report came out just less than an hour ago. As expected, inflation has worsened, increasing 3% from a year ago, raising fears interest rates could spike as a result. Joining us now to discuss this, break it all down, the founder and CEO of the Island Capital Investments, Anthony Esposito, and the president of the National Taxpayers Union, Pete Sepp. Great to have you both here. Anthony, let's start with you. What do you make of this morning's numbers? The CPI numbers that are out, was it what you expected?
It is what I expected. Good morning. The University of Michigan 1-year inflation expectations number last week came out hot at 4.3%, and today's CPI numbers came in hot at 3 and 3.3% year over year. That's the CPI and then the ex-food and energy. So kind of the train wreck that was left by the Biden administration is continuing to unfold, even though President Trump is moving us in the right direction. When we look at the debt and deficit numbers, that's really what's fueling inflation. And that continues to be the case. So inflation's high. Inflation should be expected to be high for now until we can get this under control with some real growth and with a reduction in deficit spending. But for now, it is hot, and the markets need to come to terms with that, which they are reluctant to do at all-time highs, but it is going to be an issue moving forward. So fully expected what we see and fully expect coming reports to show higher inflation.
Yeah, here's the truth. These inflation reports turn political when you've got the party that's not in office blaming the other for the report. And Pete, you look at the timing of it all. The president's only been in office for just over 20 or so days. And yet you can see Democrats now realizing that the economy is not so great and prices are high, appear to be blaming Trump this time around. Your thoughts on that strategy?
This is a wake-up call for everyone in Washington. The Doge caucus in the House of Representatives is having a hearing today on improper payments. That's just one of the areas of federal spending that we have to get under control. Secretary of the Treasury Bessent has said he wants to aim for 3% of GDP deficits. Well, we're above 5 right now. The federal spending track has been just awful since 2019, up 70% since 2019. We cannot sustain that kind of growth, and the focus has to be on controlling federal spending. Otherwise, the expected inflation reports are going to get unexpectedly worse, and we're going to be in serious trouble. So the president and the Republican Congress are right to focus on spending. They've got to keep their eye on it.
Anthony, as Emma mentioned, Trump has only been in office here 20 or so days, but yet the Democrats continue to argue, well, when do the prices come down? It's only been 20 days that he's been in office. Is it a fair argument to say, well, we're not seeing the brunt of this yet? When's inflation going to come down? Does President Trump, how much time do you think that he's going to be given before he can start bringing these prices down?
I'm smiling because for 4 years under the Biden administration and under Yellen, we've increased our debt by $16 trillion. So from $20 trillion to $36 trillion. There was no inflation while Biden was in office. Everything was fine. Jobs were strong. The economy was strong. Inflation was fine. Everyone just go about your business, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. And now all of a sudden, President Trump comes into office and prices are high and eggs are too expensive and gas is too expensive. And, the world is on fire. So I pay very little attention to the Dems, as I think most people should. It is really just, it is grandstanding, it's politics. This has been a problem for 4 years. And to answer the question directly, I think you need to give President Trump at least half that time, at least 2 years to start to get back on track and fix what they broke. You cannot be the problem and the solution, and that seems to be the Democrats' way of thinking. So they've created a massive problem. The prior administration was a disaster as far as spending, which was directly fueling inflation. We have to give President Trump a little time. There'll be a spread between implementation of policy and results, and that should be expected.
Yeah, we heard the phrase, it's transitory, right? For how long did we hear that? Well, now the Trump administration can use it and say it's transitory. We're going to actually bring it down. As for the cost of eggs, there was a bird flu, Pete. I mean, millions of chickens were killed because of it here. So which came first? You know, the eggs, we got to wait for those following the unfortunate flu. Your thoughts there?
Yeah, well, that's supply and demand in action. If the supply of eggs goes down because of some external factor like bird flu, price is going to go up as long as the demand remains constant, or worse, the demand increases. This is what's going to happen. The important thing to remember, though, is that the Biden administration put down regulations and policies that did not allow birds to be inoculated from this strain of flu, or at least strongly discouraged it. And we're seeing the result now. Lots of birds either culled or killed. And again, the supply goes down. And if the demand remains the same, these price spikes are going to keep occurring. And oftentimes, it might be the market, but other times it might be due to bad policy. And that's where groups like mine come in.
And not only is it affecting consumers, I was talking to a restaurant owner. He said that the price of eggs at his diner have gone through the roof. It's affecting small business owners as well. We have to leave it there, though. Anthony Esposito, Pete Sepp, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.